Dale's broken the desk.
That's a good start.
Hi, Miss. Come have a seat.
She does respond to the content.
Yeah, let's go, Mr. Manning. Let's have our 50-minute forum.
50.
Afternoon, everybody. So, I foolishly somehow ended up agreeing to do the first one of these. I'm not sure how it happened, but I'm going to give it a shot. Okay, obviously the whole point of these forums is for us to share different things and things that may hopefully help other people in some way. So I'm going to have quickly talk to you about a piece of software I use called Evernote. And the idea behind Evernote is very simply your filing cabinet that will hold everything. Okay. There is a reason why the icon for Evernote is an elephant. The theory is that you will never forget anything once it's in there. The brilliant thing about Evernote is that it lives in the cloud. So it's not permanently attached to your computer. It can be accessed from anywhere. And this can be your mobile phone, your tablet, even a web browser if you're not attached to your normal machine. Okay? So essentially Evernote has the ability to actually hold anything you want, whether or not it's documents, videos, photos, anything you might find useful at some point or another you can dump into Evernote. The brilliant thing about it is that it's fully searchable, and I do mean fully. So not only does it search for file name, it will also search what's inside your files. It will also search for particular content. So for example, you might have a bunch of seating plans in there and you're trying to look for, you teach a student twice, you're trying to figure out what lessons and things it is. If you search for a student's name, it will come up under the search results. You can also tag things, which means that not only can you put them into categories and folders, you can also then associate them with other pieces of information. It comes in two variations. It comes as a free version, so everybody can try this and everybody can have a go with it. And then there is a version where you either pay £4 a month or £35 a year. So it's up to you on whether or not you want to invest in this. But just to give you an idea of how this works. So this is my Evernote program. So at the moment I'm accessing it via the app that you can get on either the Mac, but you can also get it on the Windows machines. Or you can access it via a web browser. And the way I use Evernote is sort of as a classroom organisation tool. So not only do I have sort of my administration folders and so on, but I also have a stack for each form, for each lesson that I teach. So for example, under Year 10 Media Studies, if I click on that, I then have inside that additional notebooks which hold the assignments students have done, class notes, and also student info. So under student info, each of my students has their own note, and I basically use that to jot down if they miss homework, if there's anything I need to know about them for that lesson that they maybe haven't responded particularly well to a topic I'm going through. It's a quick and easy way for me to add information. Under the class notes is basically where I put all my notes and planning for the lesson I'm teaching. So for example, this is the lesson I taught today, so we've been studying action adventure films. So I just put through some of the definitions I want to go through with them, just a basic outline of what I wanted to do. Now obviously you could upload your lesson plans to this as well, you could upload any additional resources you want, that is up to you. So at the top of every lesson I also put the seating plan that's relevant so I can quickly call it up if I need it. And I also put links to videos and anything else that I'm planning on using in that note. So from that one note I can access everything I want. The advantage to me is that I use an iPad as my primary machine when I'm teaching around the college. Evernote works brilliantly on the iPad. All of these links work. So I bring up essentially my iPad brings up a reminder for me. 5 minutes before the lesson starts, brings up a link, I click on it, it brings up the note for me. From there I can bring up my lesson plan, I can bring up my seating plan, I can bring up direct links to all of the resources I use. In terms of the way you can organise Evernote, it's really up to you, and this is the nice thing. I use this after coming across it on one of the Evernote ambassadors. Evernote is a company that has been trying very hard to get different people using this in different ways. So they actually have ambassadors for education, and so this sort of setup is way that was recommended by them. But the advantage is you can really set it up however you want. It's not one size fits all. It really is a genuine case of everybody can set up a system that works for them. You can, as I said, tag things. So if we look under tags, I've sort of got exam question tags. I've got stuff that's relevant to the iPad, so if I click on exam questions, these are all of the exam questions we put together for our students, and it just allows me to quickly get to stuff. And then, like I said, you can also search through absolutely everything you want as well. So for example, Year 10 Music Autumn doesn't come up with anything, that's really helpful. Let's try that again. So if I search for B324, which is one of our exam units, not only do I get all of the student work for that unit that I've saved in there, but I can also pull up the guidance, production log comments and everything else. Okay. Now in terms of security, because obviously I am putting student work and everything in here, other nice thing about Evernote is that it actually has 256-bit encryption, which means it is safe. It is, when you're transferring stuff back and forth, people can't just intercept it. And if you log on to a different machine that you haven't used before, you can set up two-factor authentication. What this means is not only do you put in your password, it will also send you a code to your mobile phone or to your tablet that you then have to put in as well. In other words, if someone finds out your password, unless you've also been unlucky enough to hand your mobile phone to that exact person as well, everything is going to be safe and sound. This is obviously just a really quick overview. What I've done is I've prepared a sort of a lengthier blog post to go on the FCC Learning WordPress blog, which sort of goes into things in a bit more detail, and obviously you can always come and ask me if you have any questions at all. So that's it, unless anybody would like to ask anything. Thank you very much for coming along.
So you can download it, we could download it to our school PCs, could we?
Yep, so
for nothing.
It's free. So basically, if you create a free account, what it allows you to do is have a 60 megabyte upload limit for the month, which might not seem like much, but when you consider that if you're uploading Word documents and things like that, 60 meg actually goes a very long way. So you can set it up for free, have a play of it, see how it works for you. In all honesty, I paid a £35 a year and I have no issue paying that £35. It's incredibly useful to me and it's allowed me to stay on track of stuff. More importantly at the moment, you know, I'm in a new role, I'm trying to make sure that I don't drop the ball on anything. Evernote is what's allowing me to do it.
So you don't have anything on hard copy, you do it all in
No, keep it all on the cloud. Primarily because I just want to make sure it's all available.
I'm a dinosaur.
Yeah.
Can you have video linked to it and photos?
Yeah.
Also, can you save your own photos, or will that take up the memory quite quickly?
Yeah, because images take up a lot, don't
So
they?
if you're adding pictures, obviously that 60 meg will disappear. But if you go for a paid account, it gives you a 1 gigabyte upload allowance each month, which suddenly means dragging pictures, videos and things is quite straightforward. The other nice thing about it, I forgot to say, that from a department point of view, you can have one person with a paid account and the rest of your department have free accounts, and the person with a paid account can share a notebook to other people so they can access it in their Evernote, but the only person that's actually using their allowance is the person with the paid account. So it's quite also a nice way of sharing information. Like I said, when you take into consideration the power you get of using it on mobile devices, so you can pull up information on your mobile phone or your iPad or your Android tablet or whatever you have, it makes things very, very flexible.
Thank you.
Okay.
Dale, does that need internet to work?
The free version does require internet. The paid version has an option called offline sync. So basically it will sync everything to your device and you don't need an internet connection to use it.
Is that very similar to Google Drive then?
Very similar, with the exception of the fact that Google Drive doesn't quite provide you with the same level of search capability and everything else. So yes, Google Drive is a cloud provider and is a good option. That gives you 15 gig of storage. The advantage of Evernote is that you have a lot more flexibility in how you search for stuff and put stuff together.
Okay. Thank you.
Sounds good.
Anybody else had a go at using it?
I use it.
Shall? What's your experience?
Well, I use it mostly again because I mostly work on an iPad if I'm outside school, so if I'm at meetings and things, then I just, instead of where I used to scribble on a pad, I just put all my notes directly in there and I save them and I can just forward them to anyone that I need to at work who needs copies of those notes, and it's just, yeah, simpler.
Is that it, everyone? Okay, Dale.
Thank you.
Round of applause. Thank you very much.